Okay, welcome back everyone. We're now going to do the second part of Yud Gimel Amud Aleph. Starting over here, it's just about the middle of the daf, maybe a little bit towards the bottom, Tashma. I'm just going to zoom in here for a second because I noticed on the last video it may be the text is just a little bit on the smaller side. So I'm going to zoom in for you guys. That's good, nice and big. Okay, now let's begin. So the Gemara is now going to ask again on Rav Chisda. The Gemara likes asking a lot of questions on Rav Chisda at this point. Here the Gemara is going to be asking on Rav Chisda's position regarding a public fast day. Again, just to review, Rav Chisda's statement regarding a fast day, not Tisha B'Av, but a regular fast day, is the whole restriction of bathing is because of Tainug, therefore only hot water is asur, but cold water is mutter, it's permissible. So now the Gemara says, Tashma, come and learn a refutation on Rav Chisda. Kisha amru asr ben malacha, when we said in the Mishnah that malacha is asr, lo amru ella biyom. We only said this, that it kicks in during the day, aval balayla mutter, but it's permitted to do work at night. Rashi actually comments here and he says that technically speaking, on the night of Tisha B'Av, one is allowed to do malacha. Technically speaking, it's mutter. However, we don't publicize this. We try to keep it private. We don't do work in public. Amru asur ben ilas hasandal, and when we said that you do not wear leather shoes on a fast day, lo amru ella be'ir. This is only talking about in the city, when you're with the other people in the city mourning and davening. Aval bederech, but when you're traveling and you need to wear good shoes, mutter. You're allowed to wear the sandal, the leather shoes. Ha ketzad, how do you basically conduct yourself with this? Yotze laderech noel, when you go on your way, when you travel, you put on your shoes. Nichnas la'ir, and when you get back into the city, choletz, and when you get back into the city, you take off your leather shoes. The Gemara continues. Amru asr berachitza, here comes the question on Rav Chisda, and when we said that it's asr to wash yourself, lo amru ella kol gufo. This is only talking about the prohibition of washing your entire body. Aval panav yadav viraglav, but washing your face, hands, and feet, mutter is mutter. V'chein atamotze bemenuda u'avel. And you find this similar law by someone who is excommunicated or by an avel. Now comes the question. What is this that we're talking about that applies to the person who is excommunicated and the avel? Lava kulhu is not talking about all these things that we mentioned just now. Malacha, nilasando, rechitza. Uvimai askinan. And with what type of water are we talking about that you could wash just your face, hands, and feet? Ilema bechamin panav yadav viraglav misharu. If you want to say we're talking about hot water, what makes you think that you're allowed to wash even your face, hands, and feet with hot water? V'hamar Rav Sheshes, didn't Rav Sheshes say, Avel asr lahoshi etzba'u b'chamin? A mourner is not even allowed to put one tiny finger into hot water. So certainly this can't be talking about hot water. El alav bitzonin. Is this certainly not talking about bitzonin with cold water, which would tell you that this is a big problem on Rav Chisda, because we know that Rav Chisda holds that on a public fast day you could wash your entire body with cold water, not just panav yadav viraglav. So the Gemara now answers for Rav Chisda. Lo, this is not correct. La'olam bechamin. Really, we're talking about hot water that you can wash your face, hands, and feet. V'daka kashi lecha, and the part of the Gemara that is a kasha to you, meaning Rav Sheshes' statement, who said that an avel cannot use hot water at all, even for a finger. V'chein atamotzi b'menuda u'avel hasha'arakai. What seems to be saying is that Rav Sheshes' statement is not really applying to our case. We're talking about a public fast day, where the whole issue is tanug, is to take away enjoyable activities. Rav Sheshes' statement was focusing on restrictions that applied to a mourner or to this person who is excommunicated. Therefore, we conclude that really Rav Chisda is correct. We're not going to reject Rav Chisda based on Rav Sheshes. And really, Panav Yadav Raglav, the restriction of washing only your hands, your face, and your feet is only by hot water. And when it comes to your entire body, you can use cold water. We're now going to finish off with just one more question on Rav Chisda. This time, the Gemara is going to ask a question regarding the prohibition for a mourner to bathe even with cold water. Tashma, come and learn. The Amar Rav Abba HaKohen Mishum Rav Yossi. Rav Abba said in the name of Rav Yossi HaKohen, the Kohen, Ma'asa, there was once a Masa, although really it was not just a Masa, it was a tragedy. Umesu Banav Shor Rav Yossi ben Rabbi Chanina. Two of Rav Yossi's sons died. They died consecutively. One died and then the other died. V'rachatz betzonen kol shiva. And what did Rav Yossi do? He washed himself, his entire body, with cold water during the shiva. Obviously, once again, we have a question of Rav Chisda, who taught that an Avel cannot wash his body at all, even with cold water. So this is a question of Rav Chisda. How do we answer this question? So the Gemara answers, Hasam kishetafkuhu avalav hava. This was, as I mentioned, a very sad case where his 2 periods of mourning followed one another. There was one set of Shiva days and then another set of Shiva days. And in that case, we have special leniencies for the mourner. Disanya, we learned in the Brisa, Techafuhu avalav zeh zeh. When a person has to sit a double period of Shiva, one right after another, lo aleinu, Rahman al-Itzlan, Hichvid Sa'aro Mekal Bisar. So the Gemara says, if his hair becomes heavy, meaning his hair becomes long, it's very, very gross and long and uncomfortable, so he could trim it with a sar, with a razor. Usually you can't do this during Shiva. And similarly, Machabes Ksusaso B'mayim. And you could also do laundry with water. Again, laundry is something that's usually not permitted to do during Shiva, during Avelos, but since this is a very rare case where the mourning is extended, it's a double period of mourning, so you could do these things. And similarly, in Rav Yossi's case, Rav Yossi felt, since he was sitting this period of a double mourning, he washed himself with cold water, but under normal circumstances, one would not do so. So really, this is not a question on Rav Chisda at all. It's just a very unfortunate, rare case. Amar Rav Chisda. Rav Chisda concludes with the following statement: Besar, aval below b'misparayim. When Rahman al-Itzlan, we have this case of a double period of mourning, and we have these leniencies, we still do them with a shinoi. So if you want to trim your hair, you must do so with a razor, with a sar, and not with scissors, because we want to do it a little differently. And similarly, when it comes to doing laundry, b'mayim, you could only do it with water, velo b'nesar velo b'chol. And you can't use this, I'm not exactly sure what nesar is in English, it's some type of mineral or soil, or chol, or sand. They didn't use sand for their laundry, but they would put some sand into the water, which apparently helped with the cleaning process. It did a more thorough job for cleaning. So again, Rav Chisda is saying, in such a circumstance where there are some leniencies during the mourning period, we still do them with a shinoi, and we wouldn't do it in their normal way. This concludes this portion of the Gemara and the handout sheet that goes along with it. I hope you found these 2 videos to be useful, and please use them to your advantage and use them to help you fill out the worksheets.